Hello, I'm Jenny Fern and welcome to my library. I'm a chaotic neutral mechanical engineer who's really into permaculture and wants to talk about books. So let's talk about books. Today I am doing a quarterly goals check-in. It is March 16th, so we are not quite at the end of the first quarter, but we are almost there. And I did start my reading year on December 25th. Let's do a quick recap of my reading and booktube goals, and then we will see how we are doing. Also, I'm filming in my bedroom today. I don't know, it's very, very rainy, and I've just been feeling like I want to be really cozy. So here we are. We've got a little bit of a brick wall. We have some artwork. No books behind me, so I hope you understand. My first reading goal that I set for myself this year was to always be reading at least one book from my shelf. So I'm usually reading some sort of ebook for my library, some sort of physical book, and an audiobook. I'm usually reading 3 books at once. So one of those books I wanted to always be from my shelves. A lot of the times that's going to be the physical book that I'm reading. I think I'm super achieving this goal. I just finished reading The Symbiotic Planet, and so I have started reading The Garden of Evening Mists, which is from the library. On my little nightstand here, this is where all of my books get hoarded. I have Long After Midnight, I have Magic for Sale, and I also have Bridge to Terabithia, which I have not quite started, but this is the physical book that I would be reading. But I just finished reading the one that I'd been reading before. The audiobook that I have right now is To Say Nothing of the Dog, which is also one of the books on my physical TBR. I have been achieving this goal. The sub-goal, which I'm actually getting a little concerned about for whatever reason, is that I want to read 50 books this year from my physical shelves. I'm being a little lenient with what I'm calling a book. If it is a complete story, if it is a complete element, so either a novella or a play or even a novel in a collection, I am going to be calling that a book. You may not, I'm going to. The month of January, I did 7 books in 7 days, and many of those were books that I owned. So I ended up reading 13 physical books in January. In February, I don't know what happened, I only read 4. And then so far this month, I'm also on track to reading 4 because I have read 2. Total of 19 so far. There's no reason I'm not going to hit this goal. It's just stressing me out a little bit. The second goal was to find a science fiction heavy channel that would inspire me to love and read science fiction again. I have not found a science fiction heavy channel that I really strongly vibe with. I have found a lot of really beautiful channels that I do really vibe with, but a lot of them are more on the literary side. What I have found is that I am hearing some sci-fi or sci-fi adjacent recommendations on those channels that I'm getting excited about. The hole left in my life of books and pieces, not even having videos on it anymore, it's pretty rough. If you have a sci-fi heavy booktube channel that you know of or that you are, please let me know, especially if you think I'd vibe with that. Help a girl out. Especially if you can find something that is science fiction focused and not fantasy focused. To me, they are so different. I just can't relate the things that I love about science fiction to the things that are interesting about fantasy. I feel like they're completely different. I would love to read more science fiction, so I am failing on this goal so far. My third goal is to keep inspiring myself to read books on my shelf and books that are on my TBR list, the things that are in my commonplace book. I would rather be pulling the books from either my physical shelves or the list of books that I'm interested in rather than random books. I've definitely been achieving this goal. I have been pulling from my TBR list when I do want to check something out from the library. Filming those videos where I go through a list of books that I'm interested in has been really helpful for me, because whenever I am feeling stuck, like I want something to read, I can just watch that and pull from it what sounds the most interesting to me at that particular moment. Every time I go to pick out a physical book, I have a limited TBR from the Books and Lala, Buzzwordathon TBRs, and the books I really want to read this year TBR that I made at the beginning of the year. Both of those have been really helpful in narrowing down the books that I'm choosing from. And then I also am allowing myself to pick up the shiny new books that I've recently picked up. I just got to get it out of my system, you know? Goal number 4 is to read short stories from literary journals, and I had a goal of 1 per month. A lot of the reason why I wanted to prioritize reading short stories from literary journals, I wanted a goal that would pull me out of this idea that I can only read complete books to have them count for myself. And that is some baggage from using Goodreads. And I did in that video also have a brief discussion about this tendency that I had. That video happened before I made the decision to remove myself from reading tracking apps entirely and to give myself the room to count whatever I wanted to count as reading. So I haven't exactly been reading from literary journals every month, although I still think that's an excellent goal and I should get back into it. I read 3 stories from a literary journal in January, and then since then, the short stories that I've been reading have been from collections. But I haven't been forcing myself to read full collections to read those short stories. I should get back into reading from literary journals. I've technically failed this goal. And then there was a subset of this goal, which was to read some poetry. And I wasn't as specific. This could have been in poetry collections or from literary journals. And I have actually been reading way more poetry than I expected. I have been definitely achieving this goal. The last 2 books that I've read, and I have reading vlogs coming out for those, Painting Churches, which was a play where one of the characters is a poet, and the other was The Symbiotic Planet, where every chapter epigraph is a complete or a subset of Emily Dickinson poems. I took it upon myself to go ahead and read the full poems for everything that was mentioned in both of those works, which was really such a fun little literary adventure. And I had also read an issue of poetry. I have been reading more poetry than I expected. Goal number 5 was to keep doing what I'm doing, because I have been having such a fun time with my reading in the last couple years. I have been really enjoying how I'm going about it, how it's fun. I don't feel this weird pressure, even though I am partaking in booktube, and I am reading what I want to be reading. I am really reading things that I'm specifically interested in. And it's funny because I'm filming these reading vlogs recently of these books and I'm like, who would ever search for a reading vlog of this book? Nobody. It's not like, Six of Crows reading vlog where like people might actually care. It's so important to me that I enjoy what I'm reading. Even if absolutely nobody is looking for these books, it is so important to me that I still read them. I'm proud of myself for doing that, even though channel-wise, it's an interesting strategy. It's not all for views, I suppose. That ties in nicely to my video goals. So I wanted to post one video at least every 2 months that is on the advice, how-to, or like resource guide side of things. I have released 1 video so far this year, how to avoid distractions while reading. And I really enjoyed making that video. I have really enjoyed people's comments on that video. I'm still really motivated to make these advice and how-to videos. So far, so good. The second goal, I think I'm finding a little worrying, like I'm stressing out about a little bit. And that is to have one extra video per month about writing or creative projects. The reason why I stress about this one a little bit is because I know that I'm gonna have to post the video each month, but I don't always know what I'm gonna do. One of these weekends before it's too late in the month, I'm just like, okay, what do I feel like doing? I guess I'm just gonna do that, which I'm not sure that's exactly what my thought process was in doing this. I didn't want it to be like a last minute, let's just put something together that we're gonna do. On the other hand, it is also motivating, regardless of if I feel like I'm ready or not to do that, I'm still doing it. I am starting to share more with you all the various creative projects that I have worked on. So even if it's not a new project, I'm still sharing with you something that I wouldn't have shared before. So I have to think about what I'm gonna do this month. The third booktube goal was to post at least one video per week. That has been my goal since I started, and it has been working out for me, and I will continue to do this. I'm still achieving this goal. The fourth goal is the subscriber goal, which I set at 1,500, and at the time that I was recording it, I had not broken 700. And I was talking about my plans for the 700 subscriber special, which again, I'm so grateful to all of you who have subscribed and let me do that fun little project. I am at 1,264 today. I am on track. I can also see the types of videos now. I have like a little bit of a better idea of what will do well versus what's just for me and you. The people who are here to be with me more authentically. There are some videos for y'all that I'm making. The reaching kind of videos that maybe are a little bit more, basically something that will have more of a discussion going on, whether or not that's people being kind of rude about things or, you know, people just having a lot of thoughts and input about things. I'm being completely honest, it's a little scary to know that the videos that boost you into growth are also the videos that get seen by a lot of people who don't know me and who are more likely to be mean. So it is scary for sure. And so I think there is a limit to posting things that I know will get a lot of people talking. It is a double-edged sword. Sorry, I was just thinking about the saying double-edged sword, and I'm like, did I use that properly? I'm not sure. That is my quarterly goals check-in. Thank you all so much for being here with me today. If you enjoyed it, please consider sharing it with a friend you think would also enjoy it. Consider liking and subscribing, and I will be back again soon.